Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about the next step called Shivank, which is equivalent to 0.3441 and you are also seeing a picture in this picture. This is supposed to be the third stage of maturation. After first stage of creation called Brahmank, 10 stages develop as Dasank, and third is Shivank as the third stage of creation of all the perfect object of the entire universe. This is the wisdom which I want everybody to understand, how nature designed the divine design of nature. Now let's come back to my own approach toward life. Ever since my childhood, whenever in doubt, I always looked after the universe or Brahman. Why do I do? I see a uniform, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, perfect divine design in the nature, and that is my teacher, and that is the picture which I am talking about. And I also know that human being, is made of 10 chakras, solar system is made of 10 planets, and spiral galaxy is also made of 10. So this is the 10 stages of development. Then the greatest verse I know is Tattvamasi. That means every object of the universe is identical. Hence there should be divine mathematics, and that divine mathematics is Divyank. Now comes the question of starting the Ganit Vidya. I do know Sanatana Dharma has given Mantra Vidya, Yantra Vidya and Tantra Vidya. All the three are great. There is a mathematics in mantras, there is a mathematics in yantras, and there is mathematics in tantra. There is no doubt. But nobody has gone deep into the the mantras of mathematics of mantras, yantra and tantra. And I am glad among the mantras I have made Akhand Gayatri as a mantra based on Divyank. And as far as the symbol is concerned, this particular symbol is also the symbol of Divyank alone, which is a perfect design. And Tantra is the human body, also you can see in this particular picture as well as Khand, all the 10. That is what I am trying to talk. And that picture brings it out for the first time in the history of mankind, the divine design of nature known as Divyank, Divyank and Divyank, and all the things connected with Divyank can resolve all the issues of divine mathematics and find that every other mathematics known to the world in physics, chemistry and medical sciences is defective, man-made concept which is confusing all the education system of the world. And I am trying to rectify that with Ganit Vidya. And that's what the emphasis is more on Ganit Vidya in my work and also symbolic repair. These two things stand out so that there is uniform approach in education from school, college, university, research to all the publications uniformly. Once that comes, only the world can expect Satya Yuga, a truthful era once again. Now come to the question of mathematics. Who discovered mathematics is a question which is it is not Aryabhata who invented. Zero has been there from the very beginning itself, and it was shown as a shunya in Ved itself. Now there comes to the question of what happened thereafter. And first thing which comes to my mind is the production of Fibonacci sequence, which is written here. But in this particular thing you can see it very clearly. It starts from 0, then goes to 1, and then 1, 2, 3 and goes on like that. That is what we see in a gross form in the nature as we see with our eyes as such, are under compound microscope, not electron microscope, not the Divya Drishti which I have. I have seen the gross, I can see the subtle, and subtle goes on thereafter. Third thing which comes to the mind is a golden ratio which is recognized as the most perfect object of the universe. In this particular spiral galaxy you can see. But there are two things which I have given on golden ratio. Is it equivalent to 1.618 or is equivalent to 1.61803398 etc. Both are defective because one is too simple to be scientific and other is too elaborate to be application and perfect as such. My understanding is these ratios are not perfect. the perfect ratio is given by Divyank alone. Then comes to the question, how did I find the Divyank ratio perfect, by which has never been done by any individual in the history of mankind? And I make it very clear. It is not my ego. I want everybody to understand this could have been done. And Divya rectangle is the same thing which you see in spiral galaxy. Length and breadth are the two dimensions we can see. Unfortunately, third dimension, the depth, cannot be seen in a picture's cube. But I can see 10 dimension, let's not get into that. The ideal length and breadth of this, I have worked it out, is 100 into 161.8034. This is a methodology which could have been used by anybody till date, but they have not done it. It is not my fault. Now I am going to show how exactly I did it, because I want it to be registered in the mind of every student, every researcher, every author. But this should have been the approach. Once this is ingrained and all the defective man-made concepts are removed, we would expect the perfection coming up. You're going to see more of this, but that is benefit of the entire world. First step, make a square of 100 into 100 unit, you can see. Second thing is convert that into two lots of 50 into 100 into 50 into 100, two equal rectangles. Then third, you create a hypotenuse using A and B of one of the rectangles, as you can see it very clearly. Then find the value of the hypotenuse, and I have shown how 50 into 50 2500, 100 into 100 is 10,000, then equivalent 12,500, and how square root of 12,500 is 111.8034. That's all. So hypotenuse is that particular thing. Then goes to the next step, to create a semicircle line with that and increase the bottom line. So becomes 50 plus 111.80 equivalent to 161. So you get a rectangle of 100 into 161, and this is what I have done, and I feel you can imagine. And now this is the final picture of a ratio of Divyank 100 into 161, and I can say this could have been calculated by earlier people also, because there is no complication. It's a simple mental mathematics. We can be done with a hand and a pencil itself. You don't even need a calculator. And that is what ancient Indian Brahmins were very good at. They did all the calculations on the ground or on the paper with the pencil itself. And I have done that ever since my childhood. And I have gone one extent. I don't even need a paper, I don't need a ground, I can do that in my brain itself. And once you train your brain to think mentally and you train it, you integrate the entire brain, and no wonder I can produce 8 hertz frequency through the brain. And the prime objective is, because I've been thinking of mathematically, mentally, and using my brain to do all the calculation of the brain, and that is the beauty it's all about. Then this is how I represented in the making of rectangle triangle. Now let's go to the next step. There is a word called infinity. But does anybody know infinity number till date? I would say till 2015, nobody knew infinity number at all, constant at all. And rectangle has made me realize that 61.8034 is the divine constant. You can call it as infinity. This is one number which can be used, and that number will never merge, converge and diverge at any stage. And that is what comes out of Divyank as the first reward. Now come to the rectangle, and then start our 10 reverse engines to prove that the infinity has two, invention as well as evolution. Invention are coming in, are expanding out. We are going to see both of them to realize how beautiful is infinity number of 61.8034. Now I have taken the square 100 into 100 and made a semicircle of 100, as is the first step. Second thing is divided 100 divided by 61.80 you can see in the picture very clearly. Now here, after everything is going to be divided only 61.8034, not any other number. and then the semicircle of 16. As a result, 100 into 161 is very covered with the two semicircles. You can see it very clearly. The third one, you go to the third, you reduce 61.8034 by another 61.8034, you get a number of 38.1966. That's clear. Then you go further, it comes down to 23.668. At the fifth level is 14.5898. At sixth level, 9.0170. At seventh is 5.5728. And third is 3.4442. Ninth is 2.218. And 10th is 1.3. You are very close to 1. And this is what I wanted to show. From 100 to 1, it takes 10 steps of division by 61.8034. But there is a little more than 1, and that is exactly the question comes up. With 20, we have come to 10 stages. Clear, there is no doubt. But very moment you go to 11th is less than 1. That means the 11th step has to be a partial. And that could be the last stage of maturation when everything is completed. And that is Shivank. Only 10 reducing is involution, but 10th is a Shivank, and that is the number we have to work it out. I have used this particular process to show inverse deviance of 61.80 as such as infinity. Same thing, I have gone to the Brahmank level now. Brahmank, as Akhand makes it very clear, is 22 by 21. That's the first stage of creation. I have proven it already. Now from that we move on to next to find how many times 21 into 21 orbit can be made in Deviant rectangle. Now come to the question of Dasank, meant 10 stages of development as such. In this particular matching, I am going to show you again using 22 by 21. As you can see, the first square is done. 21 into 20 is very clear. That whole solar system is made of 21 parts. Every cell is 21. I have already shown Brahmank as such. But to create a new cell, it is a 22nd step. In the cell, it is centrosome, which is 2, becomes 2 centrioles. Or you go in the solar system to go beyond 22. This is what Upanishads, Vedas and Puranas and Shibhushan Sharma's Akhand Sutra is talking about. And this is the first step or first stage of 22 to 21. You can see very clearly. This is Brahmank. Now we go to the next stage of the first evolution of first stage of 22 by 21. You can see one more going up. Then you go to second one, you go to third one, you go to fourth one, you go to fifth one, you go to sixth one, you go to seventh one, go to eighth one, you go to ninth one, you go to 10th one. Very moment you come to the 10th one, you have come very close to the end of the deviant rectangle, but there is not further evolution possible. And this is what I meant. These are the 10 stages of Dasank, which is clear. No wonder Lord Brahma is known to have 3 plus heads, and it represents pi, and 1/3 is this his creation. Similarly, Vishnu has got Dasavatar, and that is Dasank, and I have already spoken in Dasavatar. There are 10 solar systems, 10 chakras, and 10 incarnation of Lord Vishnu, which represents same thing with autonomic nervous system, same with endocrine system, same with homeostasis. That is the clarity you are going to see, a consistency with which the entire universe is seen. From every angle it becomes Divyank alone. Now come to the question, at that 11th level it is not 22, 21. We have come to the end. It's a repetition of same thing. That is, this is a partial stage of development, not complete. What exactly its value is something never been revealed by anyone in the history of mankind. And this is where I take it to the next stage. Man-made concept of 1 plus square root of 5 divided by 2 is a miscalculation. But this particular 22 into 21 to the power of 10, I have already done that before. And represent is given in this particular picture very clearly. And same thing, I go to the further stages. This was done. Now third stage we have to find out. I have given the final number of third as a 0.34, which I mean the beginning itself. Now Shivank Akhand was published in 2002. In this particular picture, Brahmank and Dasank were well known by me. I have shown that 22 by the power of 10 is very clear in this book in thing. But Shivank took another 13, 14, 12 to 14 years for me to find the thing. But before that, I had already seen how exactly mathematical design works in education in 64 arts and things. My experience from Chennai 2004 to Bangalore to Sri Mathavas University to Chettinad University has helped me to interact with different students to find, and that finally led to Shivank, because everything has a time. Nothing happens before time, but you have to consistently work with Gyan, Vigyan, Pragyan, Akhandata to achieve the impeccable. It has taken me almost 60 odd years, but it's worth coming to that stage, rectifying all the problems which could have been done. And this is a picture of Akhand, speaks of the same thing. 22 by 21 to the power of 10 is very clear in this picture. What is a Shivank is not seen in this picture, very. Now same thing is there in this particular picture. I see goddess Gayatri, which I have used a picture in Akhand itself. And this is a picture I had designed in 1997 with the same chakras in her head superimposed. And I agree with it. Old picture, slightly improvised with 10 chakras, which I think are important. But here you have lotus flower, that is just Brahma, 10 hands Vishnu, and the 5 heads as Shivas. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, 3 are T integral parts. And that's a beauty I realized by reading Aitreya Upanishad, Rig Veda. At the same time, Anusuya, the one who made Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh together as Dattatreya, and up to that an extent Dattatreya also is mentioned in Akhand. And Divyank can be called Dattatreya, in which you have Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh plus all the three put together give you the right answer. So that old ancient symbolic representation of Brahmans of Akhand Bharat have done a wonderful job in giving new pictures of the world with full of divine mathematics. If the people don't understand divine mathematics, they think it's imagination. I'm very sorry for them to say, you haven't even started learning ABC, forget what XYZ. Now I'm bringing the third picture into the mind where Shiva is coming to the picture. That was the goddess Gayatri, which I told Neon 21 earlier very clearly. But now I'm bringing a picture of Lord Shiva with the same concept as Gayatri. You can see at the bottom lotus flower, which is Brahmank as such, and I would say that is 22 by 21 as such at 43. I have shown that even in Shri Chakra. Then 10 arms are the Vishnus, agree. By 5 heads are the Shivank, which represent the 5 decimal value of 0.34419. And 5 represent Panchabhutas only. That is beauty. Now come to the question of exploration of Shivank. And I do believe that modern era equipments which we have available by the scientists of the world are phenomenal. Highly sophisticated equipments we have. We have computers, fantastic hardware, software, possibilities of the nature which is hardly dreamt of when I was a child. Now having done that, that has made my PhD work also very clear, because I could evaluate my brain electrical activity with computer aided power spectrum analysis of electroencephalography. I am the first person in the world who produced 8 Hz frequency throughout the brain with eyes open, eye senses 24/7 as such. No one has done it, and that was part of my PhD research. And after that, I've come to see more and more, and I have become better and better as move on. And that is what medical education research of Shivank started in Chettinad Academy of Research and Education, Chennai. And I'm glad to admit with all the humility that one of our professor at Madras University, Professor Govindaraju, who was a statistician there, helping thousands and thousands of research scholars to find statistics in their work. But I did not need her statistics because I didn't have to use it. Mine was a single case without any analysis of other things, so I did not have the pleasure of meeting at that stage. But I'm glad when I came to Chettinad, he also came to Chettinad as a statistician, and we became good friends, having lunch, breakfast together all the time, or having cup of tea and discussing about statistics as such. And I being a mathematician, and I have encouraged both my sons to do maths and statistics as a subject because there is a great value in statistics. So discussing Govindaraju statistician, the subject of exploring Shivank, it took me quite a number of years. Then finally for 2 days we sat together to work this number out. I am thankful to him for giving his honest time, sitting with me for 2 days and step by step finding it out with the help of IBM's SPS version 21, this particular number. Let's see. Now I give you the background. SPS is originally mean statistical package for social sciences was this. It's a software suite used for statistical analysis. It's a fantastic work. It is widely used in various fields such as social sciences, market research, healthcare, helping user manage, analyze and interpret data. It's a phenomenal work. I'm going to make one on statistics on this itself. What I learned from Professor Govindaraju in Chettinad. SPS is known for its user-friendly interface and ability to handle complex data state so easily and effectively. I can tell you, having worked with him and analyzing step by step, I think was a big enlightening, empowering experience, and that is what I'm giving him credit for teaching me so simply a beautiful process. Now there comes the question of this is how in a computer base is done. It is how the mathematical design is. I do not want to go into details of this particular thing. As in my PhD, it is maths thing done. Here also is maths done. Let's not go into that. I used 21 and done with it. Now how did an earned admission? I'm going to make it very clear. Precise decimal value of Shivank was not known at all to anyone. The dimensions of Devyank are the first thing which I recognized after my PhD work or during my PhD work with the math base itself. 100 into 161 was recognized at that particular stage, but I did not go further. Now I know it's divided by 61 is Brahmank. And then it was a challenging work for both professor and me to how we are going to find out the precise, concise value of the third stage called Shivank to the extent of 0.34419. It was a tedious job. I don't think anybody will understand the work. I worked it at step and step. I literally took over and he became my student. I became the guide. That is very interesting. I learned from him the methods. Then I said, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And doing that step by step, finally we came to the stage of 0.34419, and that was enlightening. Having come to that particular stage, I said, fantastic, an amazing divine wisdom which came. Now I'm going to explain the same concept with great numerology. Now 0.34419 you add up, it becomes 21. So that means this particle is 21. When you go to Brahmank, it also starts from 21. What an amazing! And this is where I want to go through the world. Brahma is supposed to be Lord of creation, the first step of creation. Vishnu is 10th stage of development. But when it comes to Lord Shiva, he is the Lord of dissolution and regeneration. That means everything ends with him and starts with him. So that way the statement of Vedas Upanishads is clear. Lord Shiva is the dissolution and beginning. That means he is the end and the beginning once again. No wonder in Shivling I have shown from pole star right up to sun, it is pi 22/7 only. And I think that makes it very clear that this is what it is all. And having done that, and I'm pleasantly happy to say the journey completed in 2014-15 itself. And after that, I started writing with a book, Divyank, the Divine Constant, and got it published. I had the copyrights on that. The whole process have gone through. And further gone on to make Akhand Sutra. When Divyank Akhand Gayatri Mantra came up, then many things have come. Now slowly and steadily I'm talking about all the things which divine has created and is revealing to the same thing the world, so that we have retranslate our educational system with impeccable wisdom of Divyank and make it uniform for anybody and everybody throughout the world for the love of it. I do not want education to be based on price, and I'm doing it and giving. I'm glad that YouTube channel or Quora are the two things. They don't ask me a question, they give me opportunity to publish my work for the love of it. And thanks to these two organizations, YouTube and Quora, who do not ask me a question, give me the freedom and give me the copyrights, give me the trademarks, give me everything, and nobody can copy it without putting my name. And having done that, and all what is required for the next generation to learn perfect mathematics, perfect physics, perfect chemistry, perfect medical sciences, and going to be explained one. I've already done, but now the new system will make it all more as a one book. And I'm glad I'm doing it for the love, because I want the entire world to have impeccable wisdom, free of cost, and for the love of it, at the walking talking encyclopedia on a smartphone, which is available to every child. Even a child with a minimum amount can have this, and this particular design with 4K, even a small phone clearly can see without any difficulty. And that's it. Now coming to the last, I think that's enough for the day. We're going to see more and more, because I want everybody to register in the brain, remove all the muck from the brain, which is confusing and conflicting. And that's it. And I think that's enough for the day. Thank you very, very much.